Hi, hope having a great day. You're watching JG Entertainment, and for this video, I'm ranking DC's new slate, the one that James Gunn just revealed, from my least excitement to my most excited one. So yeah, I'm very excited to just make this video. I'm very excited to talk about these projects more in depth. Each one, there's 10 different projects that he announced. So yeah, let's just get started into this ranking. So yeah, at number 10, or last place, is going to be Creature Commandos. And this is a 7-episode animated series with a group of monsters that fought the Nazis back in World War II. I'm not sure they're going to modernize him for this series or not. In the comics they do, so I'm not sure that it's going to happen for this series. The monsters don't specifically interest me, to be honest, with Weasel somehow, out of everyone surviving the reboot. That kind of bothers me, I'm not going to lie. Out of all the characters, Weasel's the one that survived, and it just happens to be James Gunn's brother. I'm just saying, that's a little sketchy for me. I don't like that. I've always said that if he's going to make a reboot, he has to make a full reboot, or not reboot at all, and just keep going from where it is, and I don't like that what he's doing right now, and this is one of the projects that I have a huge problem with it. So yeah, that's part of the reason why I don't like it. Third thing is that while animation definitely interests me, the image that they kind of showed, this image right here that you see, it did not hook me. I don't think the animation here looks great. I love it looks comic wise and everything, but I don't know. I think it's not pushing the boundaries to animation that where I wish it did. Something like Arcane would really excite me, but I don't know about this. I had to wait and see, of course, like an actual clip or something, but it's not amazing. And also, I'm scared to see how important this is actually going to be to the DCU. It just feels like it's not going to be that important, to be honest. And it feels like it might be similar to other James Gunn projects, as this is like a team, like just a random weirdos, and they're like coming together. And James Gunn did write the 7 episodes, so who knows? I am curious for it. Like I'll probably end up watching it, probably, unless the reviews are bad. But I'm not very excited for it. I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely nothing that excites me at all. Alright, number 9 is going to be Paradise Lost, and Paradise Lost is the Themyscira series, which is a prequel series from Wonder Woman that James Gunn described as, how did it come about? What's the origin of an island of women? What are the beautiful truths and the ugly truths behind it all? And what's the scheming like between the different players in that society? So I think it's an interesting concept, to be honest. Doesn't seem super crucial to the story of the DCU, but it sounds fun. I think it could honestly be something really fun. The Amazonians have never been something super interesting to me, to be honest, and to the Zack Snyder cut. Whenever the Snyder cut came out and they had like the super amazing fighting with Steppenwolf and the Themyscira Island and everything, I mean, I thought it was amazing. I think Zack Snyder really did an amazing job. Whenever Patty Jenkins handled it, I thought they were okay. I thought they were fine. They never really captivated my attention. I was like, okay, whatever. So it's very much going to depend on who directs this and how it's written. And to be honest, he also described it like as a Game of Thrones type of series. So I think it has a lot of potential. But I'm not confident that it can reach that potential, to be honest. I'm not that confident on it. We'll wait and see. I am very curious, but it's not going to feature Wonder Woman or nothing. And it's a prequel series. Like I said, I don't know how important it's actually going to be to the DCU. So far, I'm not super excited. If it can be handled like how Zack Snyder handled the Themyscirans in the Snyder Cut, then it's definitely going to be one of the best projects. But if it's just handled how Patty Jenkins kind of handled it, it's going to be a very mid project for me. So I'm curious about it. I'm just excited, to be honest, because I think that it can be something really nice. But I'm also concerned about it. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. Alright, number 8 is going to be Swamp Thing. And Swamp Thing has been described as a movie which will investigate the dark origins of Swamp Thing throughout the prism of horror, according to Peter Safran. This is a much more heroic film, but will still have Swamp Thing interact with other characters, according to Gunn. So this is kind of interesting to me. The director of Logan, James Mangold, is interested in directing this. Of course, he just directed Indiana Jones 5. It's going to come out later this year. So I think it could be something really exciting to have this director attached to this project. If that doesn't end up happening, that would be super awesome for this movie. And it's supposed to be totally different from everything else in the DCU, which I like. I like that they're going to have different tones. I think it's something that Marvel is kind of missing a little bit. I think they had to have some different tones. Some of them had to be a lot darker because I think that it's not going dark enough sometimes. So I think that this movie would definitely go dark enough for DCU, especially with James Gunn being ahead of the DCU. I think this movie would probably be rated R, to be honest. And something exploring the horror side of it, I think that could be really interesting. Swamp Thing has always been something that I think could explore a lot of horror and a nice, ugly tragedy of how it came to be. So I think it has potential, and if James Gunn does direct this movie, I think it could honestly turn out really good. The thing is, Swamp Thing has never been a character that has managed to grab the audiences and everything, and it hasn't managed to grab me personally. So I am excited for it. I think it has potential. Like I said, I see potential in it. I see why they would greenlit this, but so far I'm just not. I wouldn't put this as a priority. Like I would have made a bunch of other projects before I made a Swamp thing. But I am interested. It has supposed to interact with other DCU characters. I'm excited. Different genre, horror genre. I think it could be done good. We'll see. We'll find out if it actually turns out to be good. That's why it's at number 8. I'm just not like excited with joy. Like yeah, something. I'm just like okay, sounds interesting. So that's why it's my number 8. All right. Number 7. And number 7 is going to be The Authority. This is the second film of the slate, and Gunn has said that this isn't just a story of heroes and villains, and not every movie and TV show is going to be about a good guy versus a bad guy. There are people that are very questionable, like The Authority, who basically believe that you can't fix in this world in an easy manner, and they take things in their own hands. So me personally, I'm not so familiar with this team. In fact, I didn't know who they were until this announcement came about, so I had to make some research about it. And they sound kind of similar to The Boys, to be honest. Like, you watch The Boys TV show, it sounds a little bit similar to that. It sounds a little bit similar to Thunderbolts as well, Suicide Squad. It sounds a little similar to that. Like, just heroes that, like Punisher, like heroes that think that they kill people and whatnot to make the world a better place. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. Peacemaker was one of them, and the Suicide Squad, the one that James Gunn directed. So that's kind of what it sounds like. So it sounds like a little bit more of the same, but I've always liked this type of genre, so I think it could hit pretty well. Beyond that, James Gunn did promise this was going to be a big movie. It wasn't going to be a small movie, it was going to be a big movie. So I am interested in that. I think like if they spend the budget on it, I think it could be pretty awesome, regardless of like the team. I think it could just be a really cool action movie, and I think they could really explore the gray line in life, like not the good guy, not the bad guy. You're just like in the middle of it. I think it's something always super interesting for me to see in film and how it's depicted. So I think it has potential once again, but I don't know the team. I have no idea who the members are. So I'm just here to just kind of. I'm excited because I like whenever the movies explore this type of thing, but I don't actually know anything about the team. So that's why it's my number 7 spot. Alright, 6th spot. And 6th spot is going to be the Waller series. And Viola Davis is returning for this, and it's being written by Crystal Henry, who wrote Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, the creator of the Doom Patrol TV series. So, with those credits, it sounds kind of exciting. I don't know. When I tried to watch Doom Patrol, I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Maybe it's just the budget that really sucked for that show. Like, they had really bad budget. But I just couldn't get into it. So, that doesn't really get me excited. But Waller has always been a really interesting character that's kind of evil. But she's trying to save the world, kind of. So I think it's really interesting. She's trying to save the world from falling apart, but she does really evil, questionable things. So I think that could be awesome. Viola Davis has always been great in the role, but once again, it wasn't a full reboot, which really bothers me. Like, you're gonna either do a full reboot or you don't do a reboot at all, and that's one of the problems that I have with it. Despite Viola Davis being really good in the role, I don't care. I think it's like you either do one or the other. You can't be in the middle because it just shows favoritism, and I think that's what James Gunn is showing with the people that he kept, his brother and Viola Davis, who was in his movie. So, and for sure his wife, therefore. So yeah, so they've been described as something that's like in the middle of Peacemaker. Like, we have Peacemaker season 1, then it's this, and Peacemaker season 2. And while I did enjoy Peacemaker, it wasn't my favorite series. Like, I know some people really like it and say that's better than any MCU show. That's not what I think about it. I think I definitely liked it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't amazing. And I really hope that this doesn't follow Peacemaker. I hope that this is its own darker story. Also, I'm sorry, there's a plane that's passing by. It's really loud. But anyways, I hope that this is its own darker story compared to like a Peacemaker 2.0. Kind of like how Boba Fett was like a Mandalorian 2.0. I just don't want that. I want Waller to be its own story that's dark, that's gritty, where you see how questionable she is, where you see all the evil stuff that she does. And I think this could be a really cool series with a bunch of cool cameos, Suicide Squad cameos, maybe even Batman, because she has connection with Batman and whatnot. It could be really awesome. I think it has a lot of potential, but it really all depends on what they do with the series. If they do it like Peacemaker 2.0, I am out. But if they do like a really interesting series like the one I just described, it could be pretty awesome. Alright, number 5 is going to be Batman, the Brave and the Bold. And Batman, the Brave and the Bold is a series that I mean, it's a movie. It's going to be a movie that I am excited about just because it's Batman. Of course, why are you excited for a new Batman movie? But, I think we already had Batman, of course, and I just don't know how I feel about adding more Batmans. I think that was a huge problem with the DCU before, having multiple things of a different character, like Harley Quinn's about to have multiple things, Joker's about to have multiple incarnations and whatnot. And I think this was a huge problem with DC before, and I think it's going to continue to be a huge problem going forward. Now, Batman the Brave and the Bold is supposed to bring in Damian Wayne, who James Gunn described as his favorite Robin. I fully disagree with that, but I don't hate Damian Wayne, that's what people, but I don't agree with that. I think Nightwing is better, Dick Grayson, for sure. And I have a problem with this being the first Robin being on screen. Like, why is it Damian Wayne first? Why couldn't it be Dick Grayson first? Obviously, he's the first one in the comics. Why can't he be the first one in the movies? I think I have a problem with that. Maybe they're gonna keep him. Like, of course, you can't have Nightwing. You can have Damian without having Nightwing before. So maybe they will like have him in the movie, and it just hasn't been announced yet. And I could be hating for no reason. But until that's announced, I don't love the idea of Damian Wayne being the first one and on screen. Beyond that, I do think Damian Wayne has an interesting story with being trained by Ra's al Ghul and being Batman's actual son that he hasn't seen like 8 or 10 years or something like that, some 12 years, something like that. And he'll be like a little assassin. He's a little bit of a brat kind of and whatnot. I think it could be pretty cool. I think it has a cool concept and Batman dealing with a kid. It's always something I really want to see, the Bat family on screen. It's never been done before, so I am excited to see just Batman and Robin on screen. It's just I don't know if Damian Wayne was the right one to go from the start or like right off the bat. But I am excited, and it's Batman. It's really going to depend on who they cast as Batman and who they cast as Damian Wayne and the writer. I think it's really going to depend on that and the director and how they're going to change it up from being too similar to the Batman movies that Matt Reeves is doing. But I'm excited. I think it could have really nice potential. I just don't love the idea of Damian Wayne being the first Robin. Alright, number 4, and that's going to be Booster Gold. Surprising for me to be this high up, to be honest. And it's going to be a streaming series. And they described it, or Gunn described it as, it's about a loser from the future who uses basic technology to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero. And he also described it as an imposter syndrome as a superhero, kind of. So that's pretty cool. I personally really love the concept of it, and I think it makes for some really nice character exploration, which is what I love. I love whenever shows kind of explore characters. That's the main reason why I love Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It's just such an amazing character exploration. So I think this series could really explore a character really nicely, and this character is pretty funny. I love his attitude. Like, he's kind of like cocky, but he's like insecure in the future. But once he goes back to the past, he's a lot cool. He's trying to consider like a superhero. I think he has a lot of potential. I really like it. I don't know who they're gonna cast. I'm sure Chris Pratt is probably somewhere in the talks because Chris Pratt literally looks like the character, and I think he could play the character pretty well, honestly. And it has a relationship with James Gunn, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was Chris Pratt, and I wouldn't mind it either. I think he would play a pretty cool Booster Gold. It could definitely be a comedy. I think it could be a comedy, but with its really serious moments sometimes, just like really exploring the characters like dark, like not dark side, but like the like his sad side, like how he's basically a loser in the future and whatnot. And I think it has some pretty cool action, some pretty cool visuals, and all around, I think this character is just a really enjoyable character to have. And I think if done right, this could be a really enjoyable streaming series. Like, I just watched it and I'm like, this is amazing. This is really fun. I love this character. I love like his story, how he has to like come to this self-discovery of who he really is, and it's of course a comedy and whatnot. I don't know, I find a lot of potential on it, and I think it could be pretty awesome. And I love the fact that it's a series instead of a movie because it can really explore his character really nicely. So yeah, I'm excited for Booster Gold. That's our number 4th spot. All right, moving on to the 3rd spot, and that's going to be Superman Legacy, and it's going to be the first film of the DCU. And it's described as, it focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing, according to what Safran said. James Gunn also described it as the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way. He is kindness in a world that thinks kindness is old-fashioned, which to me sounds like a perfect description. I think it's a really nice description. So I am a little worried because James Gunn did kind of write the script, and I'm not exactly sure if James Gunn is the right person to write a Superman script. I'm not saying that he can't. I'm happy to be like impressed. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Like, his past movies, I don't like it. I don't love his comedy, and I don't think that comedy that James Gunn has will work on Superman. But he could have potential. I think that he could write a Superman script. I'm just not sure if he. I just don't know if I trust him yet. So I'm very excited to be hopefully happily surprised. I'm excited for that. As for casting and director, that's going to be the most crucial part of this movie. I think that director might be James Gunn. They said that Safran is trying to convince James Gunn to direct it. I don't know if that's the right choice, to be honest. James Gunn is an amazing director, but I don't know if he's the right choice for Superman. I think maybe they could do somebody else. I'm not sure yet. I'm very excited, though. Casting is going to be, I think, the most crucial and important part of it, and just getting it right. I think Superman is such a hard character to get right and just write stories of Superman, but if this is done right, it'll be super awesome. Me personally, I love Man of Steel, but I know it's trying to go towards a different version of Man of Steel, like a more happy, lighthearted 4-quadrant movie, which I completely understand. It's Superman, so I'm fine with it. I'm fine with this change of pace. I just hope that the new actor is good. I love Henry Cavill in the role. It sucks that he's not playing him, but I hope that the new actor does good in the role. I don't know. I'm just cautiously optimistic about this movie, but the reason why it's higher up here is because if this is done right, I would be so happy because I love Superman, and I feel like he really needs some better movies and some better representation in like the media in general. Like, he's supposed to be like the gold standard of superheroes, and like nobody even knows him that much. Like, everybody rathers Batman and Spider-Man and Captain America and Iron Man and whatnot when it's Superman. You know what I mean? So it's just. I think he needs some respect, and I think this movie could get it for him. So yeah, only if it's good. Really hoping that it's good. I'm really excited for this movie. Second spot is the Lanterns series, and this is how I described it. Our vision for this is very much in the vein of True Detective, according to Safran. It's terrestrial based. It will feature prominent Lanterns heroes Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and it's one of the most important shows they have in development. This plays a big role in leading into the main story we're telling across film and TV. So yeah, that's really interesting to me. I love the fact that it's gonna be like a detective series, so it's not gonna be like this huge space thing. It's gonna be like these two lanterns, Hal Jordan and John Stewart, the most iconic lanterns, of course, in the same series where they're like cops and detectives, and they have this mystery to solve on Earth. But of course, they have the ring and their lanterns. So I think that's really exciting. It has a lot of potential. And honestly, they said that it plays a big role into like the actual DCU. Like whatever mystery they're uncovering is gonna be super huge to the have super huge ramifications to DCU, which sounds amazing to me. That sounds really awesome. And I would just like I said, I love the like kind of like the concept of true detective type of thing. I think it just sounds awesome. So overall, I'm excited, and I'm excited to just see the lanterns done right. I feel like the live action, they haven't had any good live action adaptations, to be honest. They really need to be done right. Snyder could kind of give us like well, it was supposed to give us a very small tease for the lanterns until Warner Brothers messed it up. But whatever. But I think that this could be really awesome. I'm very excited to see just more lanterns on the big screen. I just need it, and I know this is like a TV series, but it's gonna move on to big screen, and I think it could be a really nice way to explore the characters, to show the detective side, to show a little more of the corpse just from like the outside, so that way whenever we get into the actual big stories in the DCU, like with big movies, we have these two really amazing lanterns set up, and they could play a really nice role into the story, which I think sounds awesome to me. So yeah, this series just sounds awesome to me, and I'm excited for it. I love mysteries, so yeah, I'm really excited. But at my first place, the one of the most excited to see is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, the movie. And I'm so excited to see this because James Gunn, basically, this is what he said about the description. Let me just read his description. He said, "We will see the difference between Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time he was an infant, versus Supergirl, raised on a rock, a chip off Krypton, and who watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life. And then comes to Earth. She is so much more hardcore and not the Supergirl we're used to, which to me is perfect. I love this. I have read the comic book, and it's an amazing comic book, like really awesome comic book. Like you really should read it if you haven't read it. It's a little bit of a darker story, which I love. Like Supergirl is a lot more mature in this story. Like she gets drunk and whatnot, and she's basically coming on this plot with this little girl for revenge for somebody that killed her family, who also killed Crypto. I don't know if they're gonna do that in the movie, because they're killing a dog sounds kind of evil to do in a movie, but maybe they'll do it. I don't know. Who also killed Crypto, and like they're looking for revenge against this person. I think it could be pretty awesome. It's basically the Mandalorian, like Supergirl is the Mandalorian and the little girl is Baby Yoda, but in a lot darker story, a lot darker setting, coming for revenge to kill this one person. And at the end, Supergirl kind of influences the girl, like the influence that Supergirl has influences the girl to like not, and eventually not end up taking revenge, which I think is pretty awesome. So I think it could be a really, really moving story with some really nice character development and exploration, just to see like the loss of Supergirl and to really differentiate between Superman and Supergirl, which I think is something super important to have. And also, this is very much a space odyssey. Like very, very little time is spent on Earth. Like the rest is just like going through different worlds and whatnot, and across the galaxy and everything. And to me, that's just awesome. James Gunn said to not worry about the budget, that they will get the money they need for any of these projects. So if they can get the money they need to make this budget, like the actual movie, look amazing, it could just be the best project in the DCU, which is why I'm number one. I think it just has so much potential. The comic is amazing. The character development of the comic is amazing, so they can definitely do a great job here. The story is just amazing. The adventures, the action. I mean, I think it could just be super, super awesome for this movie if it's done right. Like the director, whoever the director is this movie, please be good. Please do an amazing masterpiece of this movie, because it has the potential to be one of the best superhero movies of all time. So yeah, I'm just very excited for this movie, and that's why it's my number one spot. And so yeah, that's my DC slate ranked from my least excited to my most excited. Tell me about it down in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? And leave me your own ranking down in the comments. I'm definitely very curious to hear it. I just want to hear different opinions. So tell me that down in the comments. As well as please make sure to leave a like. It really helps our videos. So please leave a like and subscribe for more content, more DCU content whenever we get more news, Marvel, Star Wars, just in general movies and TV show contents, all type of stuff. Subscribe for all the content that I'm sure you're going to enjoy. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And this is your entertainment out.